What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Caitlin Clark and her impact with the WNBA, right? And so recently, when Caitlin Clark came back, I think Caitlin Clark's comeback really just showed not only the WNBA, but she just showed the world like how much the WNBA really needs her. And by that I mean that ratings be like as soon as Caitlin Clark got hurt, ratings went down. You know, they people say the ratings dropped like 50%. And some people try to make excuses and say, well, um, well, the ratings dropped because, fans are boycotting because, they don't like the way the WNBA and the media is treating Caitlin Clark. And basically, I had to disagree with that. I think the reason why uh the ratings fell off is just simply is that I just think the ratings went back to normal. Like Caitlin Clark fan base is what is that 50% drop off in my opinion. And so when Caitlin Clark wasn't playing, Caitlin Clark fan base really didn't have any interest in watching, and watching. But once she came back, she brought her fan base with them, which just shows like her impact. Because the WNBA went back, like I said, went back to where the ratings went back to what they normally would get before Caitlin Clark was there. It's just like when Michael Jordan retired from basketball. The first time, like after they won that first three-peat, ratings started to drop. Um, even though you still had teams like the Houston Rockets was playing some good basketball. The Knicks, who was else in the thick of things when Mike was gone? The Rockets, the Knicks, the Indiana Pacers, they was in the thick of things. You still had some good basketball being played, but it wasn't Mike, and so when Mike came back, boom, you had renewed excitement and anticipation. People wanted to know, well, is Mike, has Mike lost it? Will Mike still be the same Mike of that he was before he retired? And so the same thing with Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark didn't miss as much time as Michael Jordan did. I think Caitlin Clark missed like 4 or 5 games, maybe. But it hurt the WNBA, man. I mean, like to fall off 50%, that is crazy. And so if I'm Nike or if any sponsors, State Farm or anybody, man, you gotta make sure that Caitlin Clark is in that, is she in there? Because that's where all the eyes, you know what I mean? You got so many more eyes, and people enjoy watching Caitlin Clark so much that like you're gonna have so many more people watching the game. So you gotta have her in there. And like I said, it was just proof that how much people just want to see Caitlin Clark play. And then when you have her come back and have the kind of game that she had, man, that really just, in my opinion, it just elevated her even more. It's almost like you're watching like a storybook type of career develop. And I haven't seen a storybook type of career develop something like since like actually Michael Jordan. Like when you see like everything well, looking back on it, at the time, all you know is that you're getting entertained by a great basketball player. But when you look back at what happens, and you're like, wow, that was almost like a storybook type of situation, like how everything evolved for Michael Jordan. And it's almost the same thing with Caitlin Clark, like how much people like to see her play, and then how like situations like when she got hurt, then she come back and then she put on the kind of performance that she put on, you know, um, she didn't get chosen on the Olympic team last year. And then, when she play against those girls for the Olympics, then she beat them. I mean, all that stuff, man, that all that stuff is just like a storybook type of it's made for storybook. Like if you was to write something like that up, you probably wouldn't be able to come up with like the things that's coming up. But it is what it is. It's happening the way it's happened, what's going on. And so, yeah, man, I just think that people just um really like to watch her play. And that's why every time she's playing, it's must see TV. People want to see, well, what's she gonna do next? Like when Caitlin Clark hit that 3-pointer on Breonna Stewart. That was just crazy. It was crazy. And Breonna Stewart was impressed by it. And and the defense that Breonna Stewart, you couldn't have played Caitlin Clark no better. And then she gonna hit that logo 3 on her, and Breonna Stewart just all she could do was just smile, man, and laugh, and just acknowledge that it was a great play, man. And so, what can you do, when you have somebody who has that type of impact on a sport? You don't really get to see that too often. Like I said, you seen it in basketball with Mike. You've seen it in golf with Tiger Woods. That type of excitement and that type of like that the way she captivate people. You don't see that a lot. I want to see who you see that in football with. Now I know that Tom Brady. Tom Brady like has like 7 Super Bowls. Um, And like Tom, you see it with great athletes like that, Mike Jordan, Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Venus and Serena. Well, Venus, no, Serena Williams. People who had that type of impact on the sport that they play. And she, in my opinion, she is going to be up there with those people, and it's trending that way because every time somebody, there's an obstacle in her way, not only did she overcome it, but she overcome it like in a dramatic way, like she did this past weekend, this past Saturday with the performance that she put on. So yeah, man, I just think that she, like I said, she proved to the world that the WNBA really they really need her. She's just not a fake. She's not a fraud. And that's why I just, no fugazi, and I put that on there because, like young people used to use that word, no fugazi, meaning, that she's not a fake or she's not a fraud. And she's just, she the real deal. Um, I don't know what else you could say. All I could say is just stay tuned, continue to watch and just, enjoy the show. But that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I will check you all out in the next episode. Peace.